The Five Guys burger with Cajun fries might be my favorite fast food meal. It's beefy, well seasoned and just satisfying to eat. However, according to the Five Guys website, where they have all macros listed, the cheeseburger alone has about 1100 calories and the small fries serving are another 600, which means that this meal has a total calorie amount of 1700. That is simply too much in my opinion, so I decided to try to replicate the meal with similar flavors and the same food volume, but make it with a lot fewer calories so you can have it more often at home. First, let's talk about the fries. They have a relatively standard Cajun seasoning that I believe is relatively easy to replicate, so that's good. Also, because Five Guys fills up the bag with additional fries, the entire serving weighs around 250 grams after frying. To have roughly the same amount, you will need to peel about 450 grams of potatoes, which will end up being 350 grams peeled. Fries, or basically almost every food, loses water when they are cooked, which is the reason they weigh less afterwards. After peeling, you need to cut off one slice and turn the potatoes so you have a stable base, then cut again into thick planks and into kind of French fry shapes. It's not possible to get them exactly like French fries, but that doesn't really matter as long as most of them have roughly the same thickness. Now, you can absolutely add them to the air fryer or the oven right now, however, I strongly recommend doing this additional step before. Take out a pot, put the potatoes in, fill the pot with water until the potatoes are covered, then add a strong pinch of salt and then the ingredient that will make all of the difference, and it's baking soda. You only need a little bit here, a quarter teaspoon goes a long way. Put the pot to the stove on high heat and let the potatoes simmer for about 7 to 8 minutes, that is enough. The baking soda will make the water more alkaline, which will help soften the exterior of the potatoes. I will show you why that's important in a second. After 8 minutes, drain the water and add the potatoes to a bowl. Now here's where some people just add oil straight from the bottle and add a ton of calories without noticing it. Instead, please do yourself a favor and buy an oil spray. They are available in a lot of groceries or on Amazon. There is olive oil, avocado oil and other sorts. Just please don't add oil straight from the bottle to your meals. Spray about 4 to 5 grams of oil into the bowl and then you need to shake the potatoes for about 30 seconds. Do you see all of this slur that builds on the edges? That is exactly what you want. Because the baking soda softened the exterior, the potatoes now have craters on the surface, which will make the fries extra crispy when baked. For the seasoning, you need to add a quarter teaspoon each of garlic powder, onion powder, oregano, cayenne pepper and paprika, and freshly ground black pepper. No salt here because the boiling water already salted the potatoes. Give this a shake until the potatoes are completely covered with seasoning. Take out your air fryer, or you can also use the oven with convection mode. Set it to 200 degrees Celsius or 400 F. Give it 2 minutes to preheat and then add the potatoes in for about 20 minutes. From here, every 7 to 8 minutes, give the basket a quick shake so that the potatoes can get evenly crispy. In the meantime, let's dissect the burger. I like the burger with mayonnaise and ketchup, tomatoes, pickles, 2 burger patties and cheese, and on the bottom are grilled onions. So, Five Guys uses 180 grams of ground chuck for one burger. It's an 80-20 blend, which means 80% meat and 20% fat. If you use extra lean ground beef instead, you can actually save half the calories from the meat alone. As you can see, the extra lean beef is a lot more red. The reason for that is that this has 95% meat and only 5% fat, which leads to fewer calories and more protein, and is the best way to save calories on burger. Next are the condiments. I chose ketchup and mayonnaise. Now when it comes to mayonnaise, this is something that honestly just isn't worth the calories. It has 700 calories per 100 grams and is by far the condiment with the highest calories that exist. It's just way too much in my opinion. Instead, I'm going to use light mayonnaise. This is basically the exact same but with way less oil and thus has a third of the calories. It's still a lot, don't get me wrong, but this is, in my opinion, a good compromise between mayo flavor and calories. Next is the ketchup, and there is a zero added sugar version of this that again has only a third of the calories and tastes pretty much the same. 15 grams of each will go on top of the burger. Next is the bun, and here it's quite difficult to save on calories. I have a 200 calorie brioche bun here, and the only thing you could do if you want is to swap it out for a smaller 140 calorie bun, but that would also make the burger smaller, so to me that's not worth it, and I will stick to the 200 calorie one. For the toppings, there's nothing to swap out here as they are all or super low in calories, just slice a couple of pickles, a tomato, and dice a half a yellow onion. If you want to add lettuce or jalapenos as well, that would be a great option. Lastly, let's talk cheese. So in my opinion, there's only one option for burgers, and that's a 60-calorie slice of American cheese that is made with cheddar. Please don't use other cheeses. This is a flavor must in burgers in my opinion. So let's make the beef. First, you need to split up the beef into two 90 grams portions that you need to press into a ball. Then season with a good amount of salt and cover the entire meat. Nothing else than salt. Five Guys burgers taste like beef and not like other seasonings. Also prepare 2 pieces of parchment paper, one for each burger. I will show you why in a second. And then let's get cooking. But before that, you can check out my cookbook that has over 200 low-calorie, high-protein recipes at this point that will help you lose weight and keep it off for the rest of your life. Never again eating boring food, and the best part is that I will constantly keep updating the book with new recipes, and you will get all updates for free once you've purchased it. The link is in the description. So, for the best crust on the meat, you need a cast iron pan and heat it to medium-high heat. Add a bit of oil and start with the onions and a pinch of salt. Fry the onions for about 2 to 3 minutes until they become translucent and then start to caramelize. Then lay in the bun for about 15 to 20 seconds so they get lightly toasted. Then add a bit more oil and now place in a ball of beef with the parchment paper on top. Now you simply need a spatula with anything that is heavy. I'm using my glass with the pickles. Smash down the beef until it's super thin. That will create a great crust and a ton of flavor. And because you use parchment paper, you don't need any oil on your spatula to prevent the meat from sticking to it. Take it off and add the other meatball and do the same again. The meat needs about 1 minute on one side before you need to take a spatula and really scrape everything off the pan and flip the meat. And do you see the brown crust here? This crust is the reason why smashed burgers taste so good. Flip the other beef patty as well, add a slice of American cheese on top, wait for about 30 to 45 seconds, then put one patty on top of the other one so the cheese can melt and take it off the heat. So, take the bottom bun and add in 10 grams of mayonnaise and 10 grams of ketchup and mix. Next up are the grilled onions, then add both burger patties on top, add the pickles, the sliced tomatoes, and lastly another 5 grams each of ketchup and mayonnaise. Top it with the top bun. And what Five Guys does next is to wrap the burger in aluminum foil and wait for a couple of minutes so the steam can make everything a bit soft. I'm telling you, this is the greatest thing for burgers ever. It creates one homogeneous burger that tastes insane. At this stage, the potatoes should be ready as well, and now listen to this crispiness. This is almost deep fried level crisp, and they also taste really good. This is also the point where you can add some more seasoning if you want. I like to add a bit more salt, and there you have the homemade Five Guys burger and fries. The entire meal comes in at 818 calories, 107 grams of carbs, 22 grams of fat, and 58 grams of protein. After burgers and fries, you will need some kind of dessert, so check out these creamy protein-packed tortillas. Click on this video and see you there.